Well, we got her sitting on her new frame. So
Oldsmobile.
I think this is as low as I'm gonna get it. It's sitting pretty high. She's probably gonna be able to clear her 35s. But that's about as good as we can get her. I ain't sure where to go from here. I had to cut out the body of the car a little bit. Excuse me, the core support. So it went here straight across. It actually went that way too a little bit. I cut it out. It's still rubbing crank pulley. So I still got to cut out I'd like another half inch.
Yeah, that's why
Would be enough. We might be able to go to here, but I kind of want to keep that for strength. There's not much strength in the core. These were the help to keep the strength of it, and the radiator helped to keep it all tied together. And I'll reuse these or make new ones for my radiator. And then other than that, though, I mean, the motor fits great. I think I've got probably enough room for an intercooler and a radiator and maybe even an electric fan. I don't think I can go with the standard fan unless I go to non-intercooled, which I could do. I don't mind running a non-intercooled in this since it's just a car. I'm not going to be pulling that much. If anything, it'll just be like pulling 10,000 pounds at the most. So, because all it's going to have is a bumper pull hitch, no gooseneck hitch. Turbo clears everything on the body just fine. The rear of the motor has too much room, but whatever. For me to get this chassis to line up with this wheel well, I had to have that chassis that far forward, which meant the motor had to come that far forward. And I'm not making motor mounts and doing all that on this old beater. I mean, if I were to move all that, I wouldn't use this chassis to begin with. I would go with probably a second gen chassis with, well, this has coil springs, but I'd go with second gen 4-wheel drive chassis if I'm going through all that much work. And it's just not worth the work. I could custom do it too. I could move the motor mounts inside this chassis, but it's a lot of work. I'm already gonna have to either shorten the frame and the drive shaft. Well, I'm gonna have to shorten the drive shaft no matter what, but shorten the frame and all the lines and figure out the fuel tank, because this wheelbase does not work at all. Like, it looks horrible. It would work if I cut more out of the rear. Like, say if I cut this out, I could continue this line and then go down with it right there. But you'd have to go, I mean, I think it's a full foot there. You'd have to go clear back to here to make it look good, and then it's not going to look good at all. The only way I can think it would even kind of look good is cutting it all off, clear to the bumper, and then not run a bumper. But then you're going to see the frame. So I don't want that either. So I think I'm going to shorten the frame or 4-link it, or just run it like it is and don't take it to any car shows, and everybody seeing it driving on the street might be okay. That's still gonna look stupid. I'm not gonna be able to walk up to it and not look at it like that. I mean, it's horrendous. I thought it was better than this. I thought there was only a 3-inch difference, but our supper's ready? Okay, our supper's ready. That's it for there. We did have to cut out the spare tire holder, but it was toast already, so we're gonna weld in a plate here. And then this trunk is solid pretty much everywhere, except for a couple spots, but we're gonna patch that all in, and it'll be nice.
You're going to need a wall.
Yeah, the seats will go there too. But I mean, this trunk will hold plenty of storage. And then I'm going to put my spare tire underneath, more than likely. if I even run a spare tire. I may not run a spare tire. Sure, I'm gonna have a lot more problems to be had than worrying about a flat tire on this thing. But yeah, I kind of like where the wheels sit. I wish they were a bit further forward, but I think once I go with an oversized tire, it's gonna work, because if I go with an oversized tire, I'm not gonna clear this when I'm turning, especially when I get wide offset wheels on it. I'll probably put like 20 by 10s on it or something.
Be sick when we're done with it.
Just something to keep the patina, and maybe fancy chrome wheels or something. Who knows? I don't know if black and machined would look good on this or not, but I'm always changing out wheels and tires on everything I own, so why not do it to this too? So
Yeah.
anyway, for now, that's all we got. It does have rake to it. It looks like an old school hot rod.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to leave it like that and then mock up the body mounts to make it sit the way it sits. Because it's not my style. I wanted a low cruiser. You know, I wanted it to not have a horrendous amount of body roll, but whatever. It'll be a fun beat around parts runner and maybe take it on a couple trips, and we'll see. For now, though, everything clears. Even this turbo isn't even rubbing the stock frickin' wheel well, so that's cool. I could probably I won't be able to fit my battery right there because of the intercooler piping, but I can probably fit, like if I lower that, I can probably still fit a battery there. The steering I'm not too sure on yet. I gotta figure that out. It's kind of over further than on the Dodge chassis, so I'm gonna have to figure that out, because it was on the inside of the chassis on the Oldsmobile, and on this one the gearbox is on the outside of the chassis. So I may have to put like a union in it or something, but oh well, we'll get that figured out. And I should have plenty of room to put my power brakes and everything up there on the firewall. If not, then no, I should be able to make that work. I just gotta tear all that apart and build me a flat wall there and take everything from the Dodge and put it on there. Probably pedals and everything. So for now, though, it's coming along. Well, I've got a problem where we got way too much rake. So the car sits about, I don't know, 8 inches higher in the rear than it does in the front. So I built these brackets last night. Oop. And that's where my problem lies. I built it so that it doesn't touch a fuel tank, and there's probably like 1.5 to 2 inches of clearance between the fuel tank and the frame. I don't know why you can't see that very well, but that's where my problem is. The floor was hitting the tank. None of the cross members are hitting, so that's good. So I'm gonna drop it down about 2 inches, maybe 3 inches, and then I'll just have an extra large amount of rake instead of a huge amount of rake. So the floor is already junk anyway. There's really no structure to it. It's pretty weak there. This is solid. This is solid. All of this out here is solid. This in here is solid on this side, but not so solid over here. It's getting pretty thin. So that's where it's hitting the tank anyway, right there. Basically here to here. But if I lower it down 3 inches, I'm gonna be hitting the frame right in here. Oh, you can kind of see that. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna cut it out clear to here, because this right here is gonna hit the frame at 2 inches. And I want at least a 1/2 inch so it don't touch and rub and vibrate and all that. So I'm cut this piece out to size. I'm gonna weld it in vertical right there. And then after I weld all that in, I'm going to cut it out all the way across and then put in a big sheet there and basically make that all flat. It'll be like kind of at an angle. So I'm gonna have to cut it kind of weird. Probably have to cut it too large and then do a bunch of trimming, but then I can have the strength still. I may go ahead and make another one of these for over here. That would be on the other side of the tank, so it would actually be, I don't know if that's gonna work actually. Yeah, it's not gonna work. So if I go all the way over here, once I cut it out, that could work. It wouldn't be much, but it would help a little bit. I thought about doing one on the inside of the frame rail. Between the tank and the frame rail. Because if I just do flat, it's gonna crackle and pop, and unless I add something like this into it for rigidity. But if I do one of these, it's going to shoot. I'm not gonna be able to weld it. Well, I could take the body back off the frame and weld it from the underside. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm doing at least this. And maybe put, I guess I could do flat stock and build, creases into it with my press. I could build up some sort of jig. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to do there. But that part of the floor is bad anyway, so it's getting fixed. I think this side is solid. Yeah, this is all solid still. Well, I can see a little bit of daylight right down through there. So I'll probably have to patch that. And then the fronts I'll have to patch for sure. Yeah, this is all I've made so far. I'm gonna weld that in, and I gotta go do a job, and then be back on it next time I'm able to.